Now we recognize Senator Alma Francis Heyliger.
Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, testifiers. Good morning to the people of the territory. Well, first of all, I would like to say thank you to the Department of Labor for being here to share quite a bit of information as it relates to our youth. I am a firm supporter of anything with our young people in helping them with their progression forward. If you have any kind of information, whether it's about the programs or any specific school program you have, please contact my office and forward it to us so we could also be one of the conduits to get that information out to the public. The number is 340-693-3600. So the first question I want to ask you guys, I want to talk about the safety of our young people. You did speak about 8% that said they would prefer them inside of their establishment. I think you said 40% a hybrid and 2% preferred virtual. Now, do you guys do any pop-ups to any of these businesses that say over 90% of them are able to accommodate for the safety of our young people? Do you do any pop-ups to make sure that this is accurate as well as these PPEs will be provided?
Thank you for that question, Senator. I want to make sure that we're clear that that this program here, although we are proceeding and it's gotten the blessing of our commissioner and the governor, it's going to be dependent on the Department of Health saying at that time when we're ready to begin that we can go ahead and proceed. In addition to that, all of the individuals that we place do go through some sort of a OSHA training, and we'll be adding the COVID related topics to that training. And if need be, if we had to cut back, our OSHA division only has line of sight into the public sector. So if we had to limit it to that, we could. But if it does require that we go into the private companies, that is something that we would have to look into and make sure we do it in the correct way. And we, of course, will definitely be putting the safety of our youths first as we proceed.
Okay, so based on what you're telling me, it is a possibility that maybe some of these 800 plus students might not be able to go out, depending on Department of Health and potentially spot checking some of these businesses as to if they're capable of even providing this service of safety to the children.
Well, what I'm saying is that we have to get the okay from Department of Health at the time when we're ready to begin, given the COVID numbers and our current situation, whether we can proceed. But we are planning as if we are going to go ahead and have a summer program this summer.
Okay, you're planning for it. Okay, that's fair enough. On page 2 of the testimony, there's a sentence that says, we currently recruiting participants and collaborating with mandated and community partners. Could you expound a little bit on that? What does mandated mean?
Under some of our federal funds, and we do have to partner with Department of Human Services, as well as Voc Rehab that falls under the Department of Human Services, along with the Department of Education.
So those are actual requirements in order to utilize some of the grant monies?
The grant monies, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I understand that. I want to ask a little bit, one of my colleagues spoke about the District of St. Thomas, St. John, and coming back and forth for some of the young people. And for me, you know, especially with the summer program, the last thing I would want to be doing is getting up to catch a boat to come over to another island just to work. And these are young people you're dealing with. How much effort is put into really attempting to recruit businesses specifically out of St. John to really get these children out working where they live?
Thank you for that question, Senator. We do make sure that in our surveys that we reach out to those participating or interested businesses on St. John. I do know the commissioner himself has actually gone out to St. John and spoken to some of our employers. We also do outreach. We do have other employers that have participated in the past, so we always try to reach out to some of our continued participants and get the word out as best as we can to those participating agencies and businesses.
Can I interject? All our participants at St. John are placed in St. John. They're not required to come to St. Thomas for placement.
Oh, excellent. That's what I was getting I needed a little bit of clarity on, because my colleague was talking about them having to come over to the District of St. Thomas. So I wanted the island of St. Thomas. I want to ask another question. You spoke on page 6 of your testimony in regards to work readiness program and being virtual. I want to understand, and it also touched on a line age 14 to 21. When we're talking about young individuals, even young adults, does this program or any form of this program go beyond the age of 21 in assisting young adults to really get this type of preparedness?
Yes, we do. As part of our services that we highlighted in the testimony, our out-of-school population get this service as well, through the work experience program or direct one-on-one with the case managers.
Excellent. Well, I want to thank you for your testimony. I will continue to listen and gather information accordingly. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Francis Heyliger, for your question. Now, afternoon. Next, we'll have over on the District of St. Thomas, Senator Alma Francis Heyliger. You're recognized.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, colleagues. Good afternoon, testifiers. Good afternoon, people of the Virgin Islands. Commissioner White, quickly, while we were on the discussion of T-Corp, I'm trying to understand. It says that on line 164, the most recent T-Corp expired in 2019. When did you become aware that it expired?
2019.
At the same time. So this $200,000 plus that you're going to get to write this grant, this is a current one that's going to be upcoming, and the one you were under previously is the one that expired, or you did not participate prior to?
Yeah, the one in 2019 has expired. I was not involved in the planning of that.
Okay.
As I stated, it's a long process, Senator. We don't have the resources to write a grant like that. So we are going to go out to get monies. Okay, all right.
And I am hoping that you are successful in getting this $200,000 plus in order to get the necessary monies. I want to ask a little bit on line 83 of your testimony. You spoke about unobligated funds in regards to 2 locations. Could you expound a little bit more on that in case I missed it?
Sure. A project becomes obligated after you go through the FEMA process, and then that money is now available. As I stated, I have 51 projects. Of those 51, 49 are obligated, which means I have the funding to move forward to now get the scopes, get them out to bids, and get contractors. Bodo Park, like I stated, would probably be obligated within a week or 2. The Massac building, which is the other one that's not obligated, I am basically in a dogfight with FEMA right now because they deemed that property had damages before the hurricane and did not agree that we should be awarded. I appealed that decision, and I'm going forward to try to fight to get monies for that.
Well, I am definitely hoping you are successful in getting those funds. On line 81, on line 80 of your testimony, you have the department has plans to help 2 amateur athletic unions. In regards to the basketball team, St. Croix and St. Thomas St. John districts, where exactly do you intend to look to get those funding from?
They'll be coming from the department. We have one of the things that the department do have, Senator, is funding for programs. When it comes to program, I'm very confident that we could carry out, different ideas and stuff for those programs. We get 500,000 from the Department of Tourism, their revolving fund for programs. So we have money for programs. We are going to be funding that from our budget.
Okay, as it relates, how can, say, for example, this 500,000 that you do have available, say you have organizations and nonprofits, how do they apply, or does it just take your department to make those decisions?
No, a lot of different sporting organizations would go to different entities. They'll come to DSPR, they'll go to Latry, they go to, it's simple as writing a proposal, sending it into the department with a budget, kind of explaining what you're trying to do, where you're planning to go, what your budget consists of. And then the department will decide if we can fund some of it, if we can fund all of it, or we don't think it's a program that deems sponsorship. But it's as simple as sending a proposal to myself, asking request for funds.
Okay. Well, one of the things that is consistently talked about is, making sure that we have activities and programs for our young people. But because of COVID-19, there had to have been a shift in how some of these programs are executed. What has the department done in order to assist with this, or even do things a little bit differently, because our children cannot be exposed or even outdoors as much as they previously were?
Well, I think the first thing the staff did was get educated, first on COVID-19. We went through several trainings as it entails to COVID-19. We have been on several calls with the CDC in specific talking about sports. You'll get some rift there because you'll have the sports-minded people thinking that we could do more, and the health people wanting to be a little more conservative. But I think, the knowledge and education was the first thing that we did. We then looked at different activities that don't require us to be, in contact with people. Summertime, we had a lot of virtual programs. We had virtual art classes, virtual basketball, volleyball classes. But I think with outside starting to open back up a lot more, we can now bring people back to the facilities and still control that contact with just practice and social distancing.
Well, how has your relationship been with the health department? Because even speaking to some of the previous testifiers and other agencies, a lot of things that they need to do is contingent on the decision of the health department. How are you guys working cohesively hand in hand to bring some of these things about?
Yeah, I am in constant communication with the Department of Health. You rarely, or not rarely, you would not see any program or activity administered by the department unless we get that approval from the Department of Health. We just did the movie Drive-In. They were very supportive in that. But like I said, we are getting ready to roll out a lot more activities that we're going to be sending for health for approval. The staff is confident that we can administer them safe. So I look forward to favorable approvals and continue to collaborate and work with Department of Health.
I know, for example, the drive-in that you're speaking about, and when I was reading a little bit about it, you said on that particular decision to do that, you're going to lose. Mr. Chair, can I have a few more moments?
You may continue and finish.
Thank you. What I'm trying to find out, I know it was reported that you did share, that it was shared that you're going to lose monies doing that particular drive-in. Where are these fundings coming from? And do you have a board? Do you have a group of you that decide what projects is going to be best to utilize these funds to impact as many people as possible?
Yeah, thank you for that, Senator. So the department have an athletic fund that we use for programs. To be honest with you, Senator, our focus right now, although the department would like to bring in revenue, is really not making money. I knew off the bat we was going to lose, but we wanted to be able to give type of outlet to the community. The bubble in a combine, that was a service we provided free to our athletes. We didn't make a dime off of that, but we spent easily over $30,000. But the good thing about that, like I stated in my testimony, we had 4 individuals that received athletic scholarships. So was it worth it? 100% it was worth spending the money to give these athletes an outlet. We will continue doing programs and not looking for anything in return as long as we're giving that service to the community.
Okay. Well, my time has been called. What I would like to say in closing
Senator,
is that I do. Yes.
Yeah, I just want to let you and my colleagues know we would have a second round, so you would have opportunity to ask some more questions.
Okay. Oh, so we do have a second chance. Thank you. Well, I will hold my closing statement since we have another round. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and we have 2 colleagues here that have to travel back to St. Thomas. So I would like to get Alma Francis Heyliger. You recognize?
Good afternoon again. First of all, I would like to quickly ask the question. I know there was a discussion earlier in regards to employees of sports parks and recreation attending conferences to make connections. And you also made notice that most of these connections, if you do, it usually takes about 2 years before anything comes to fruition. While at that conference, were there anything in particular that you guys gravitated to that, since it was a year and a half, that potentially could be coming online maybe in the next year or so?
I'll defer to Assistant Commissioner Hansen or Roberts if any of them want to take that question. Mr. Roberts?
Thank you.
Yes, good afternoon. While we were at that conference, and even when we got back, we did have some conversation with some of the groups that were interested in bringing different sports to the territory. One of the things that we were focusing on is the groups and the sports that were kind of we saw as low-hanging fruit. We had table tennis, there was archery, stuff that just required the gymnasium, a ballroom, things that we could put in place quite easily. What happened was COVID hit, and it kind of threw everything kind of out of the loop. But there was a lot of interest in a lot of different sports that had a lot of following. So we got kind of stuck because of COVID, but we would definitely.
Well, as of right now, we've been in the pandemic for about over a year, and as vaccines are coming out, as we are continuing social distancing and a variety of other things, and hopefully, potentially, we could get back to some sort of normalcy maybe next year. Are you doing anything to do follow-ups in anticipation of this?
Well, actually, I'll honestly, Senator, I actually had a conversation with the gentleman from tourism that went with us up to yesterday about beginning a conversation with some of the groups again. Yes, we are planning. We are talking about getting the ball.
So you haven't done it yet, but it's part of your agenda.
Yes, it is.
You haven't done it yet, but you plan to.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll be looking forward to hearing a little bit about that. Commissioner White, I would like to ask if you had a wish list, because we talk a lot about all the repairs and all the major things that have happened. Mr. Chair?
Yes,
May I have some additional time?
Yes,
Thank you.
Take your time.
We spoke about all the damages. We're dealing with COVID. But as a government agency, if you had a wish list of things that you genuinely wanted and needed in order to propel your agency to do its very best, could you share some of those things with me?
The number one priority would be, our greatest asset, which is the human resource, additional employees. And that's from all aspects of the department, the recreation in the office, grounds and maintenance, And then additional equipment. A lot of people don't realize that, when you're asking a department to take care of, 50-something facilities territory-wide, a lot of the times we ask for assistance from other agencies, and they usually 9 times out of 10 are able to assist. If we had those equipment ourselves, I think our staff could do a lot more of the work or get a lot more done. But definitely more personnel and equipment.
Okay, have you guys looked into, for example, grants in order to get some of the equipment that you might need, or have you looked at that?
Yes, I have, Senator. Part of the 428 funds from the Honeymoon Beach, we got some $2.2 million on Honeymoon. I submitted a letter to FEMA asking them to transfer that money to get us some capital improvement equipment. In that fund was some backhoes. So I have, but we need more, to be honest with you.
So that 2.2 million, what percentage of your wish list per se you would say that covered, and what would you anticipate you would like to get more in order to make you whole to do the best that you can?
The 2 John Deeres came up to about $240,000. That was just 2. But then we're talking about, attachments. We need a lot of equipment. The amount of grass that this staff have to cut around the island, 0-ton machines, bush hogs. If I was to put a number, Senator, I'll say close to $1 million in just capital equipment that we would need to make the job easier for this department. In addition to the 2.2 that you've already gotten, that would roughly round it off. Correct. Like I said, the 2.2 is going to several things. Out of that 2.2, only $240,000 is for equipment, and that's for 2 John Deere tractors. Okay. 240. All righty. Well, I would wrap up as my time has ended. I want to personally thank you and your staff for the time that you guys took out to give us the tours of the various facilities, myself and my staff that attended these tours, as well as the time and the care that I see a lot of the staff put into keeping these grounds groomed. It's kind of interesting when you're in a situation where you are almost stuck between a rock and a hard place, between trying to repair things and not touch them, get FEMA funding, but still be able to provide a service to the community. So I applaud you guys for what you guys are doing thus far. And I know the importance of these parks and the different programs that your department provides, because when it comes to the young people and the individuals in this territory, a holistic adult, a holistic child, a holistic human being, when it comes to the mind, body, and soul, is very important. So I think this department plays a critical role when it comes to the residents of our territory. So thank you so much for that. So I look forward to getting the necessary information that several of my colleagues have requested. And I am also would like to get some follow-up as it relates to reaching out to these various entities that would like to partner with us to bring more sports tourism to our territory. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Francis Heyliger, for your questions.